Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. And today we're having an Easter special on happiness. And I have with me Jonna Sullivan, who is a happiness coach. And we're going to talk about happiness. Jonna has an awesome background. Some of the things that she has done is it's quite amazing. So anyway, Jonna, let me introduce you, and why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and your mission of mercy and your happiness coaching and that kind of thing.
Great. I'd love to. Hi, Gail. It's so nice to be here. And hello to everybody. It's such an honor to have this time today to share with you on great special feast of Easter, and where we should all be happy and sharing that joy and love with one another. I by trade on vacation is that I am a clinical pharmacist. So I'm a pharmacist, and I've been practicing for several years, 36 years. And in the process of that, when I was growing up as my yuppie growing up, when I was at the height of my career, I had a divine encounter, and I was invited by God to start to live my life for the underserved population and to help him restore dignity, healing through love, God's love with a big L. And so not knowing how to do that, but medicine was my background, I founded a nonprofit called Mission of Mercy. And Mission of Mercy, we started with 6 volunteers, and now we're a national nonprofit, and we provide free healthcare, prescriptions, dental, free up to 12 surgeries free a year, free ancillary services. So it's been now in its 26, going 27 years, and it's a national nonprofit. During those years, I developed the pharmacy program, and then helped with, was on the board and helped with as a spokesperson. And with that, I never was paid financially. It was all
That's kind of like free range here. We don't get paid either. But it's a wonderful experience and journey. And that is an absolutely awesome credentials or ability to do that. What areas did you go into, if you don't mind my asking?
With Mission Mercy, all the areas of medicine, acute care and chronic care. Dental was more into extractions, not restorative treatment, because by the time they came to see you, their oral care was not very well taken care of. And so it's the height of diabetes, hypertension, all the various chronic illnesses that today that affect a lot of the people. So it's just general internal med care. But when I left that, I was drawn to a new rebirth, if you will, to another calling for these people that I was seeing. I was realizing, oh my gosh, there's something more that I was witnessing in people with that lack of happiness, that lack of self-ease and peace and inner calmness, and always seem to be like in a crisis. And today our world seems to be in a lot of crisis, from education and politics and health and government, and there's divisions and divisiveness in so many different areas. It seems like there's this huge breakdown, but really it's a breakthrough. And so we just need to change many of our thoughts and behavioral patterns to see that I was called to happiness, to help people be really be drawn to their higher calling, a calling for them to truly be alive. And
that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. I love it. It's just like moving from one area of excessive need into a whole nother area of excessive need. Because right now, people are dealing with a lot of unhappiness. And if we're able to, through a program such as this, or through what you're doing, which is called fasttracktohappiness.com, so people can look this up. And we're going to call this show, Don't Worry, Be Happy. So how can people do that, Jana, in under the current circumstances? What do you suggest?
I believe that everyone needs to listen to their soul. God has given everyone a light, and we are all there to listen to our soul, to take responsibility and care, to tweak that and move forward in a line of happiness. Choose in the sense of choosing where we want to put our energy. Mm-hmm. Living with an open heart and trusting. Whether trust, people say trusting in the universe, what God is head of the universe, but trusting in that source of power that illuminates you within. And I didn't realize this, but we have a happiness set point. And
what?
Yeah, every one of us is born with a happiness set point.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, science has now revealed that 50%, there's a little pie, if you will, 50% of our genes are designated for happiness. We're happy. They're 50% are happy, okay? So the other 40% of the pie, which together would make 90%, the other 40% is how we use our behavior and how we've been molded growing up in our beliefs, behaviors, circumstances, and which has caused maybe negativity instead of positivity. And
yeah, so those genes can be suppressed. Could I say that?
They can be changed. 40% of your behavioral patterns can be changed. There's, neural pathways and neurochemicals in your brain that can be changed, just like substance abuse. It can be changed by changing those neural paths, chemicals in the brain. And then the other 10% would be issues that are circumstances that are out of your control that might, transition circumstances. But, we have thought 90% of our thoughts are thoughts in our brains. 80% of those are going to reflect the thoughts of yesterday. So if you have in your brain, those thoughts come back every day are the same thoughts that you had the day before. So 80% of those are the same thoughts. And if they're the same thoughts and they're negative, then they're robbing you of all those positive, good thoughts that you can have.
How do those negative thoughts get in there and take over? Just as an example, because you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of food and gene expression. So now it's thoughts and gene expression, correct?
Right. I guess you're right. I mean, there is a continuum graph. When thoughts come in, they're either a contraction or an expansion. So if something is negative, you feel closed in. If something is positive, you open up. So you either have the choice to be a victor or a victim. So either you're like Velcro and your thoughts get caught like Velcro, stick together, or you're like Teflon and that just those negative thoughts just roll off and you only want to invite and change those thoughts to something positive. Now, I'm not saying
awesome.
all your life you're going to just be a happy smile walking around. I mean, things happen in your life. It's how you choose to respond to the things that happen in your life that will lead you on a pathway of health and happiness.
I've seen that in people. Like sometimes something negative happens in someone's life that would be considered negative, and they just brush it off as if, well, this will happen, or this will, it has a more positive outlook in terms of what the final outcome may be. Whereas some some may take it in and go, oh my God, I'm gonna this and that, and it's totally negative. So that's a real challenge, because a lot of it probably has to do with some of our indoctrination from childhood, from parents and school and programming and all things like that.
Well, yeah, and part of this is you want to have a sense of purpose, and then and part of the happiness classes, there are 7 pillars, and in each one of those pillars, there are 3 programs in there that works each one of those programs. So, for instance, if you are doing the roof is an important part of the house, and it is the one that gives you the purpose of your home and so they call it the roof as one of the pillars. And I like to look at it as um, you need to expand and look at what look within yourself and try and really think about a couple things. One, think about, what am I passionate about? What do you like to do? What are you passionate about? What you love to do, and what, think about what truly matters to you. Okay. So if you focus on that and you live a life inspired, and your purpose is to have clarity and take time to step aside and look at these inner landscape, is what I call them. What happens is that these become like breadcrumbs for a path that leads you. And so, it's very important to be kind to yourself, but you have to also take responsibility and know that there are some things that you yourself have the power to be enlightened and to change and to grow. And you have to learn, when to let go and when not to let go, when you need that seated wisdom to help discern. That's part of many of that. One of the pillars is pillar of the mind, pillar of the heart, pillar of the soul, the relationships, the foundation, the roof. All of these interact together. A lot of the people that I've mentored and worked with like the ones on the mind, because of the thoughts. So yet you have 90% of the thoughts that you have every day, 80% are the same ones that you had yesterday. So they like to understand how that happens.
How does that happen? Might as well get down to the nitty gritty, because I think it's very impactful.
We become contracted within, and we are focusing not on the positivity around us or the gratitude that we should have for all the things in our life. We think we'll be happier when I finish school. We'll be happier when I get married. We'll be happier when my kids finish school. I'll be happier when I get divorced. I'll be happier when I'll be happier when I win the lottery. I mean, they may be a small part of a satisfaction, but it would only be a temporary thing, because sooner or later it will always come back to the seated core within in your life, light in your soul. So you be happiest when you love yourself, you're balanced, you have that ease and calm, and no matter what happens, happiness is a state of being. No matter what happens around you, you deal with circumstances that happen, but you deal with it with a positive attitude, with a positive looking for a solution, not the doom and the gloom that you don't think that you can overcome. And and it's really being selfless instead of looking at how you can succeed. So I know, I don't know, Albert Schweitzer, I don't know if you know him, he says, success doesn't come, no, happiness doesn't come because you're successful. You become successful when you are happy. It's a state of being. And then when people see who you are, and that is that you emanate this love and this aura, and everyone has this aura around them. That is, I mean, there's aura of light that's been also proven through um, a lot of energy and other mystics and people of um, it's the right word I'm thinking, kinesiology, I guess. They will see that there's certain things that you can do, and there is light that happens around you that makes you beam and glow, and
Uh-huh.
it just comes from within your soul, where your heart is. That too is where you're embedded, is your soul.
Isn't that kind of partly living life on purpose, doing what you love, and being happy about it, and
Yeah, you do.
the
You have to do what you love and love what you do. I mean, that's very, very important. And William Barclay is a 20th century theologian. I think he's out of Scotland. But anyway, he said the two most important parts of things that happen in your life is the day that you're born and the day that you figure out why.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Why are you here? What is your purpose? What is your light? How can you shine your light and share your light with others? I mean, a part of it is service to others. I think there's great reward in that.
Yeah, and you have to check in with yourself, and you have to be in tuned with yourself, and I don't trust or don't believe every thought you have. Test your thoughts and make sure they're true. Sometimes that's part of your thoughts of the negativity. You get a thought and it's not a positive one, or maybe it's one that inhibits you and makes you feel like you're not capable of being able to be successful in doing what you want to do. And um, maybe it's more it restricts you from expanding and growing, and so it's easy to check in on your thoughts and be careful, make sure that they're true, because with time and some of the behavioral habits that you learn and you grow through, then you'll be able to see that some of the patterns that we did in the past are no longer the patterns now, and you can see how the change happens and how the flow goes very positive. So it's a law of attraction. You've heard of that.
Oh, yes. Many people
So
have. Yeah.
positive love attracts love. Positivity attracts positivity. Negativity attracts negativity. So when you're positive things happen. You have the power to embark on a great passion, a mission. And that mission is to be free and to be happy and to be able to be at peace with who you are and what you do, um, and respectful of others. It all comes together, and it's different from anger or hatred. And I think they did some studies on that too. That with water. I think his name is.
Oh, yes. Dr. Emoto.
Yeah,
Emoto.
he
Something
did
like
a lot of
Yeah, he would freeze the water. He'd put the name like hate on a glass of water and let it sit for a while and freeze it.
Yes.
And same with love. And these beautiful crystals would come out with love, and these ugly distortions would come out with hate. And I always remind people, we are 80% water.
That's right.
Bodies. And water has memory. So we want that to be a positive memory, don't we?
So yeah, in fact, he did a lot of those researches with students, and he had the whole group of students, speak to the water or give the energy of their feelings of hate and then that of love. And when they froze, it's amazing. The pictures that came,
I know. I was just absolutely shocked. And you know what? They were censoring that for a while. I don't know if it still is censored, but
Oh, really? I don't know. I didn't know that.
yeah.
It's fantastic, really, because I think that shows that we have the power. Everyone is valued. Everyone's so important. Everyone is needed, and they just have to learn about it and break free from things of what they want right now within, and just look at how they can be who they've been created to be. And with that energy of love and sincerity, it's amazing. And gratitude and affection, you can see it. I mean, people are drawn to you. They want what you have. You're a light. They want it. They want to be around people who are happy, and which leads to success. And it's not even the success, because you're so happy who you are. And then just more is given and more is given, because you're not retaining, you're not seeking for consolation. You are seeking to be free.
Yes, there's a lot to be said for freedom in so many realms. And that's even why I named my show Free Range.
Yeah, there you go, Gail. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
And let's keep the freedom coming, free humanity. But anyway, that is so fascinating. The psychological and the spiritual aspects of this, of happiness. And how do people, considering, all the things that are going on now, how do they disconnect from fear and anxiety? Because that's a big problem right now. Do you have any suggestions that could help?
Well, you take baby steps, number one, and number two, you walk through it. You take the fear to walk through, especially now in this pandemic. That this is one of the reasons that I really thought this is the time for Fast Track to Happiness. This is the time to work with people, businesses, groups, grocery stores, schools, whatever, whoever, one-on-one or as groups. This is the time, because you have seen such fear and closure, people in a lockdown, scared to death, not to move, and always afraid of their finances, afraid of their family, and then schools closing, and then that lockdown, and not being able to get out, afraid to move, and all these restrictions placed on them. They are afraid, and instead of being afraid, you break through it. You break the thought when it comes. The fear that comes is temporary. It might be afraid, but you can walk through it. You can walk through the emotion. And I did it myself when something happened to me, and I was afraid to, I had anxiety, and I was afraid to go through the action. I took a baby step to try and go through the action. What I found out, that nothing happened, that everything was fine. It was there. It was only a sense, my inner sense of having fear, which caused anxiety. And if you can locate what area of your body, when you sense that fear or anxiety, you can breathe into that area.
Free Range with Gail of Gaia and Free Range Productions is proud to partner with C60evo.com, makers of ESS 60 products. C60, the carbon 60 molecule, delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant. ESS 60 is simply the purest form of C60, a known antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory remedy that not only works, it is the only C60 molecule that is approved for both internal and external use. ESS 60 neutralizes free radicals from cell metabolization and external toxins to help minimize inflammation and maximize detoxification. People report better sleep, more energy and flexibility, and renewed mental clarity when they take ESS 60 products. For more information, visit ess60.GailofGaia.com. That is ess60.GailofGaia.com.
Take a big
Deep breathing.
breath. That's right.
Deep breathing.
3 slow breaths, and you can target that area, and then you just blow out slowly, and you realize you can process and walk through it. But these are some of the things we train in the class of how important you are, and don't let your thoughts rule your body. There's an element of your body, and that's your soul and your heart, and you're all together, unified, and we need one another to finish that puzzle. Every piece is important as part of that puzzle. So there's just don't limit yourself. Don't limit what you can do. And just some people are actually, Gail, are afraid. They're afraid to change even their job or their vocation. They might want to do something, they've done it and they're not really happy, but they're afraid to leave because what they really want to do, they don't know, they're afraid to take that leap. And you can do it. You can do it. There is a way to do it. But so they seclude themselves and they live in fear without taking that risk. And
Yes.
I always try and tell them, don't be afraid to take a risk.
I've seen that so many times, like somebody who goes to their job and they hate it, but they're fearful to try to change it, or they have every reason why they can't change it. And yet it's, I don't know, either you manage to find joy in it or you need to leave it, one or the other. Because I think stress and doing things of that nature actually leads to a lot of health problems. I've seen it in hospitals and in my past work.
That's actually and I want to get it right, so I'm looking. Okay, it was in 2005. It was the Harris Interactive. They did this study that revealed that 20% of working Americans, only 20% are passionate about their work.
Oh my goodness.
And in fact, it showed that the largest number of heart attacks that happened were on Mondays.
Oh, really? Yeah. There's always had jokes of Monday and the peak of the week is Wednesday, and thank God it's Friday. And that tells you that supports what you're saying in many ways. And it's sad though. I mean, people need to find their passion.
And they know there's so many people who know what they love to do, and even if they have the finances, it's taking that step to do it. And it's a baby step. You just take it. And I know people who have been teachers, wonderful teachers, and have beautiful singing voices, beautiful. And even the children say, please, you need to be a singer. And, they finally took a risk and did move and had to do certain types of working jobs dedicated to themselves working to be a singer, and finally working up the steps to maybe meeting someone who was very influential that provided or helped them become part of a group to sing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it works, just little by little. You have to listen to your heart. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of it. One of the ones is taking responsibility for your life and choosing to put where your energy is and listening to your soul.
Yeah, I can just hear a lot of the people, because sometimes you can't let other people around you, like your family or what have you, influence you, because they'll be, oh, you can't do that. You won't make any money. You won't be able to do this. You won't be able to do that. People can sometimes get bombarded with negativity about what they can and can't do based on what someone else believes about it. And it makes it harder for someone to follow their passion.
You have to trust. You have to trust and know yourself. And this is part of the program, is doing little exercises to help you realize how beautiful you are and how you are valued. Sometimes you have to look in the mirror for 21 days, and for 2 minutes each day, go ahead and say some positive things about yourself. So you hear it. See, we're hearing negativity and a lot of it's like, I'm not sure I want to even put on the news. It's just so many things.
I don't. Yes, I don't put on the news. I don't listen to I don't do TV at all.
And it affects your health. It does. It affects your health. We all know with depression, anxiety, it leads to substance abuse many times, or and alcohol abuse, and that then turns around to having issues, heart issues, weight issues, obesity, depression, diabetes.
How
different
about
medications.
getting out in the sun? Does that help people?
Oh yeah. So of
I
course,
knew the answer, but I wanted to I wanted to hear you say
and
it.
some I don't remember one of the classes I was taking. I remember the person was saying, teacher was saying, get up every morning and get your feet in that ground, touch the earth, you know,
Yes.
feel the earth, you know, on your feet and the grass and the sun, and um, it's been shown that if you even stand outside, not even 10 minutes a day, and just put your face towards the sun. Don't look at the sun, but I mean, just close your eyes and just embrace some sunlight on you. That alone, that energy will change your thoughts and positivity within you. It's some source of energy that goes through you. But it's the being in the sun versus being in the dark.
Yes, and that lighting is not artificial lighting doesn't even come into play there. It has to be the sun, and that's
You
kind
have
of
a
why
lot
I
where you
came to this.
live.
That's kind of why I came to the Southwest, because there are different places that have higher rates of depression because they don't see the sun because it's cloudy a lot of the time.
Mhm.
There's actually proof, and there's actually documentation and research that backs this up.
Mhm. No,
Correct?
oh yeah, I absolutely there is, and where you live has a lot of sun.
Yes, yes. I love that about this part of the country. um, so that's really good. What can someone do who has experienced a very traumatic event to help get past it? Like, say they lost their home, or they, there's a lot of trauma going on. People have lost jobs, people have lost homes, and it's very understandable that they've been traumatized. And how do they move past that?
Well, I think there is a way to heal your heart, and there is a floodgate that can open to give you abundance, and uh, being grateful for what you have. You may have lost a house, but you have your life. Yeah, there's always a positive thing that has happened. So you have to always remember to check in with gratitude, on the positive of your life. This will create a vibrant health for you, and it will also slowly create that prosperity within you. Um, it will create this flow of how you see things within your environment. Um, so um, yes, it's a sorrowful event, and you've seen that even with storms that have happened. You can see people who are devastated what's happened to them, but at
Mhm.
the same time, you also see people in a community that will gather and come together, and positive things happen from that. Or you see the people that are, say, doom, poor me, doom and gloom, and then they have depression and other mental issues or behavioral issues. So
I'm inclined
gratitude.
to believe, yeah, I'm inclined to believe it creates like a vibration or an aura around, or frequency, if you will, around you based on your feelings in that regard.
Right.
Um,
I agree with you. And you see, we all need one another, and it goes back, Gail, to what you were talking about, the essence of the aura.
mhm,
There
mhm,
is aura around. I mean, you can easily, I mean, if people do this, even spiritually, a lot of people do this spiritually, they will meditate and pray, and then they can feel, as they go down their body after meditation, this power of a force, which is their electro body and magnetic power around them, their aura, and they have that power to help others and help themselves with that. That's the power of sense of uh, peace and purity and um, gratitude. Everything is there. Healing is a healing power within you. And that is how you can, if they just attune to it, just like if you check yourself on your thoughts and what you say, you can tune it. You can tune your attitude, your positivity, your mind thoughts. Your heart will open up. And the more it does it, the floodgate will just, you'll just have this great sense of peace. It will happen.
That's awesome.
Part
It's
of
kind of like when you get a negative thought, it's like on the computer, delete, delete, delete.
That's right. You have a delete button in your mind as soon as you get that thought, let that thought come. Don't let it go through. Let it go up, over, out.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. We talked a little bit about what other ways do you see that people can nurture their spirit, for example? I guess we talked a little bit about that, but I don't think we can ever talk too much about it, really. And have we gone over the full 7 pillars of
Oh
happiness?
no, you can't possibly go over all the 7 of them.
There's too many of them.
I can list this, that what they are, and then you can live in these, in like 5 foundations of 5 elements of, like I told you, of yourself, your soul.
Well, we can do this again and carry on. Because we want people to be happy.
Or I hope they come and see me and they want to continue on with it.
Yes,
but it's possible to do all of them in one shop. I mean, I can tailor whatever they want. Some people just want the mind and the heart, or the purpose, or the spiritual component. 2 of my people that I work with are just totally on spiritual. That's it. So it can be tailored to whatever you want. But within every soul, God is alive. And
I'm Jonna, I'm going to have my youngest son go to you. I really am. I'm going to have him have a couple sessions with you. Okay. I will cover them.
Okay, that would be awesome. But you have 3 ways. There are your intention, what you attention focus on, what your intention is, your attention, or what you're going to focus on, and then no tension. Don't want to focus on them. And as you grow, you learn what your intention, what you meant to do, and what you're putting your attention on. What do you want to continue to do that, or do you want to place no tension on that? And then let me see if I have a couple other talking points for you. Really identify truly what you care about, and do what you love to do. Do what God's will is for you.
I think one of the problems, and there are certain psychological aspects to it, and maybe we could address them in a little bit, and that is this issue about social distancing. I see that as contrary to humanity. It's not our nature. We're more of a herd. We need each other. We're more of a herd animal. And I find this very, people are afraid of your neighbors, that, things of that nature. And how can we overcome that?
Well, that's the fear that it's very sad that they're captive within their heart, this fear. They are afraid that they are going to be able to survive. And you need people to survive. And too much conspiracy is put on others to restrict them and hold them from being the light of the world. And this fear tactic, I've seen it in so many places. I've seen it from the spiritual component to just in the world of work. It's rather very sad. A lot of people that you see more and more aren't distancing. If you go to the airport today, my gosh, that's packed. The airplanes used to be, every other, and now they're even sitting next, I mean, to some point, people are saying enough is enough. I'm not going to live in seclusion in my place anymore. And
Common sense is coming forward, because how come it's okay in certain situations and not in others?
there's places in Florida that have been completely fine versus places that are in lockdown and restrictions placed on them. It's people have been hurt so bad financially, economically, from being limited to what they can do. And there are people who have helped others their businesses stay, abreast, and people have helped other people with their businesses and giving foods to healthcare workers. But it's time I think people are starting to see that more people died from the flu than they did from COVID.
Oh.
And
Yeah, the
really,
statistics aren't making any sense
Yeah.
if you're looking at them.
I think if people do their homework to see, they will find that issue. So part of the component is people who are secluded and isolated like that are in the fear that they have. It wounds them interiorly. And I know we care for our elderly and our loved ones.
That concerns me a great deal. The ones that are left totally alone
And I've
towards the
heard
end of their life like this, it's just absolutely
that
unconscionable.
isolation. And I have had so many people tell me, elderly people, I would rather be in love and be with my family than to live and be without, to be in seclusion. And we all love and care for our loved ones. And initially, I think we did our very best. We thought this would be overcome, but it just day in and day out goes more and more and more restrictions, and then it loosens up for a little bit. Then there's divisiveness in so many different ways, whether it's politics or education or union. It's time that now a lot of people are realizing it's time for us to become back to normalcy in a different way.
Stand up for your rights and what's really going on. Because if you look into some countries that didn't follow any of those restrictions and so on, they're doing just fine. They're not having any problems. I think Sweden was one of them. Taiwan was another one, or Singapore. It's a place where they lived. Some of the places where they lived right on top of each other. I mean, how come they didn't have more serious problems? I mean, none of this makes any sense. And
well, even the masks, there's been so much proof about the masks, and questioning certain authorities like Fauci, on what he says, and then he does something else. I'm not some scholar to tell anyone what they need to do, but if they do their research, they will find out even the mask situations of people. So many people have worn masks too long, and the same masks. They even have their own CO2.
And they get breakout. There's an increase in dental issues. There's facial rash and staph infections and things of that nature. We're meant to breathe oxygen.
Be in the air and be in the sun, and
yes, exactly.
Trust in your prayer, meditation, and practice this positivity, and practice in your heart. Do what you know is right.
There you go. That's it. Go into your heart and use that as your judge, as your
compass,
focus, or thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah. So as a certified happiness coach, I think that's really cool. Your best advice on a closing note here for today. This is our Easter special, and we want you to be happy. And any closing words
Well,
or comments or
with
anything?
yeah, Gail. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor and a privilege to know you, and you really are doing such amazing work, and I support you 100%.
Oh,
And I
thank
thank
you.
you for
Thank you.
having me today. And I want your viewers to know, and I hope they share it, that how valuable they are. And if I'm talking right to you now, I'm going to say you're so valuable. You are so worthy. You are so important. You are loved. You share. You have the opportunity to embark on a great mission, and the passion that you have is there to guide you. Listen to your heart, to your soul, and choose where your energy flows. And I wish you tremendous vibrant health and abundancy and success and prosperity. You can do anything. You have the power to do anything. You have the power to do good, and I'm sure you could have the power to do bad, but do the good. Everyone has that light. You're often given that free will to choose. And come visit me at Fast Track to Happiness, and love to talk to you. But wherever you are at any moment, you have a choice. And that choice is to love, embrace, be whole, be free, or you have the choice to be negative and sourpuss and just grow in hatred and anger and be divisive. Make the choice to be happy. And many blessings to you.
Thank you so much, Jana. That was beautiful. We might have to do this again. I really think so, because it was so positive and so uplifting, and I hope others feel the same way. I can't thank you enough.
Okay.
I'm
well,
so
bless
glad.
Easter, everybody. Look at all the bright flowers, all different flowers out there like a garden, and each one makes a beautiful creation. So you can't just be like the other person. You got to be you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening. And please take this advice and be happy. Don't worry, be happy. You can do it. Isn't that right? Thank you
so much, Gail.
Thank you. I hope this brings some joy to some people for the Easter season. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.